Hello everyone and welcome to the first Price Know-How Snippets of 2025. Joining me remotely we have Mike Boswell, our Managing Director, and Ian Chisnell, our Product Manager for polyolefins. Mike's going to start us off by talking about some of the fundamental factors that are likely to impact pricing this month. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Katherine, for those kind words of introduction. And may I take this opportunity to wish all our subscribers a very happy new year. I wish you all the very best for 2025 in all your business endeavours. So my part is to talk about exchange rates and oil prices. I will start with exchange rates because that will help to explain what's been happening with oil prices from a pounds per tonne perspective. So looking at exchange rates in November, the pound versus the euro, 120. In December, that went up to 121. Against the dollar, we actually saw some weakness. So in November, it's $127 against the pound. And in December, it was 126. So that was quite interesting. So we had this sort of situation. If we look at the euro dollar, that actually slipped as well. So that went from 106 to 105. It was also pretty quiet on the oil markets. Actually, exchange rates were pretty quiet, just slight slip there. In terms of the average oil price, in November, it was 73.37 per barrel in dollars. And in December, it was 73.04. The minimum was 71.04 in November and 71.12 in December. And the maximum price in November was 75.63, and that went down to 74.64 in December. Just coming back to that exchange rate issue, so actually in pounds per tonne, because of the weakness of the pound against the dollar, we actually saw the price in November at 433.63 per tonne go up to 435.43, an increase of £1.80 a tonne, so not very significant. So this sort of lays the background for Ian's conversations to have with you with regard to what's happening on monomers and subsequently what's going to happen on polymer prices. So Ian, over to you.
Thanks very much, Mike. So monomers this month have rolled over. So ethylene stayed at €1,205 per metric tonne and propylene has stayed at €1,075 per metric tonne. Whilst it is the 7th of the month as we record this, it's relatively early in terms of business days. So it's a little bit sketchy as to what's happening, but the early indications are that there will be a push on polyethylene for an increase. The reason for that is cited as a strengthening dollar. A lot of the producing areas making HDP and LLDPE are priced in dollars, and exports from the USA are higher as they raise their domestic prices. They're also raising their offers for exports. So there's a strong push for increases on polyethylene, likely to be relatively minor, somewhere in the region of sort of perhaps about 20. And we'll see how that happens through the month. Some reports that LDP is a little bit tight. So if demand increases, then we should get a little bit more balance in the market. And this increase, which kind of offsets the end of last year, where monomer increase of not being passed through by majors because the demand was so weak, this may hold. But we'll have more information for you later on in the month. Polypropylene, slightly different story, and I don't think there's the confidence to be able to push through an increase on polypropylene at the moment. We still see relatively sort of good levels of imports coming from the Far East, sort of South Korea area. Some suggestions that freight rates is going to be a little bit bumpy this year, so we'll have to see how that evolves. But one of the key things that we face in polypropylene is, I think, is a lack of demand driven by key sectors such as the automotive industry. That's really struggling. We're also seeing difficulties in areas like appliances, typical areas that would demand polypropylene, particularly high quality European polypropylene. They're just quite weak at the moment. So we're not seeing a strong demand in polypropylene. So I think that's probably going to keep prices quite flat. We'll have more information for you later in the month when we release our sort of full report on Price Know-How. But if you've got any further questions, then please don't hesitate to get in contact with any of us.
Thanks very much, Ian. Thank you very much, Mike. We'll see you next time.